When you think of Mexican meats and tacos, the first thing most people think about is carnitas. Traditionally, various tough cuts of pork cooked in copper pots in its own fat. If you were in France, you'd call this technique pork confit, and it's one of the best, if not the greatest, taco on earth. So this video is gonna break down into 3 parts: making the carnitas, making flour tortillas, and a salsa verde to go with it all. Before we jump into it, why don't you give a like to the Superman curl? It's out today, which means we're gonna make something delicious. And of course, it starts with pork. Here I have the Copa roast from Porter Road, one of my favorite sources for meat and actually the sponsor of this video. Now the Copa roast is just a collection of muscles that is cut from the pork shoulder, sort of like the best parts of the pork shoulder. Now picnic roast, a pork butt, something like that'll work fine. And if you can get one with the skin on, you should definitely use that. Cut the skin off and add that to the pork, and at the end crisp it up until it's crackly and beautiful to make some chicharrones that can go right on top. But this is a unique cut. Barbecue people would call this part right here the money muscle. That's the prized part of the pork butt. Now this pork butt doesn't have skin, so we're not gonna use it. But I do have some skin left over, so maybe we'll throw that on top at the end. But basically what I wanna do is cut this into about 2 to 3 inch chunks. You want them cut into bigger pieces so they don't dry out when we go to fry them at the end. So I'm gonna cut this whole piece in half and then just cut them into sort of big cubes. And then we just wanna lay them out and make sure we salt them heavily. Meats are prepped. Now I've seen all sorts of things put into carnitas. Citrus, spices, aromatics, Coke, evaporated milk, salt water. But this is a very old recipe, so I like to imagine how they would be making it back then, and I don't think they'd be using Coke and evaporated milk. And so while you can use any and all of those things, all you really need is pork, salt, and lard, or manteca. It's much like duck confit, duck that's slowly cooked in its own duck fat and then crisped up later. So we're gonna add a whole vat of this into a nice heavy bottomed Dutch oven. So we're gonna wanna start on high heat, and then we're gonna add all of that lard to the pot. Then I'm gonna reserve about a 1/3 cup of that lard to make our tortillas later. We're gonna melt it down, get it up to a frying temperature. Once it's hot, we can carefully add in the pork to the hot oil and allow it to fry. Don't touch it for at least 5, 6, 7 minutes. Then you can give them a flip, carefully rotate them around until all the meat is beautifully seared. It should take about 20 minutes. Then we're gonna turn the heat off, place a lid on it, put it in a 250-degree oven for 2 hours. Now, you know me, I care about great ingredients, and to make great carnitas, you're gonna need a great piece of meat. And if you're not happy with your meat supplier, you're gonna have to check out our sponsor today, Porter Road. Now, first off, I've loved Porter Road for years. Long before we were ordering all our groceries online for COVID, and long before they've sponsored this channel. To say it simply, this company impressed me. Porter Road is an online butcher shop that delivers high quality meat directly to your door. They offer a wide variety of dry aged beef, pork, chicken, including rare butcher cuts that actually have flavor. And honestly, I don't know what it is, but every steak I've had from them has been the beefiest flavored steak I've ever had. They work with trusted local farmers who raise animals the right way, humanely, on pastures with no added hormones or antibiotics. And they dry age all beef and hand cut each steak and chop just to produce cuts you won't find in a grocery store. What I love most about Porter Road is that it feels like a local butcher shop. Years ago, I actually requested that they offer thicker cut steaks, and like 2 months later, they were offering extra thick cut steak. They also offer subscriptions, and steaks and chops always arrive fresh, never frozen. And I'm gonna save you cash because Porter Road is offering my audience 15% off their first order. Just go down and click the link in the description, and the promotion will automatically be applied to your order. So now that pork is working, gives us time to work on our flour tortillas. And it's ridiculously simple, unlike my attempt at corn tortillas a few months back. Here I've got 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm gonna add that straight into a food processor. Then I've got 3/4 of a cup of water that goes in. I have that 1/3 cup of lard, get that in there. And then a few pinches of salt. That's it, the top on. And then we're literally just gonna run it until the ball forms all by itself. Takes like 10 seconds. Then I got some bench flour here. Just gonna hit the board and get that onto a little bit of flour. I'm just gonna knead it together until it's a nice homogeneous ball. Then we're gonna get it, kind of squash it down a little bit. We're gonna cut it in half, cut each half in half. Then cut those halves in half. We're gonna cut those in half, but obviously one edge is tapered, so I'm just gonna kind of favor one side. And those end up being equal sized balls. Roll those into balls. I mean, is that the best way to portion out balls? I don't know, but it gets the job done. You just roll these into a rough ball. We're gonna allow them to sit for about 30 minutes to kind of relax. Let that gluten calm down, and then we're gonna be able to roll these out into like very thin tortillas. And they don't have to all be equally sized. Rustic is nice here. So I'm gonna get them onto a sheet tray. Gonna place a damp paper towel over it, along with a little towel, and I'm just gonna set that off to the side for about 30 minutes. Next up, a good taco needs a great salsa, and you can use whatever you'd like. My personal favorite is a salsa verde, or a green salsa. There's many different green salsas. The one we're making is a tomatillo-based salsa. Now I got some beautiful ones. You wanna look for a nice husk around them that's nice and kind of fresh, and then you just want to pull that off, and you're gonna see the tomatillo inside that has a little bit of a sticky film on it that we just need to rinse off, easy peasy. I'm gonna get the husks off, give them a rinse, and then give everything a quick chop. We're gonna fry them off in some oil before turning it into salsa. First up, we just want to cut these in half. This is what the inside looks like. It's not a green tomato. Then we need an onion, but I don't need too much. I'm just gonna cut a little cheek off the edge. Then I'm just gonna cut that into these little wedges. Then 2 jalapenos. I'm just gonna cut the edges off. Toss that. So I'm just gonna fry the onions, the jalapeno, and the garlic together. Those are gonna cook first, and then I can fry up the tomatillos. Now in a pan on medium-high heat, I'm gonna coat the bottom of the pan with olive oil, and then I'm gonna add in the jalapenos, the garlic, and the onion, and I really just wanna char those on all sides. You can tell the jalapeno skin's blistered and brown, so I can get those into a little NutriBullet or a small blender first. Let those onions and garlic keep cooking, and when they're browned, add them to the blender. Then I'm gonna add a little bit more oil, and then in go the tomatillos cut side down. We're gonna let those cook and sear on that first side, and then give them a flip. And let them cook for another minute on that other side, and then we're gonna take a little bit of water, and we're gonna add that into the pan to deglaze the pan while also steam finishing the tomatillos. After they cook for a few minutes, we kill the heat, add the tomatillos into the blender, along with just a little bit of that cooking liquid, just enough to get the salsa processing. Maybe a little less than halfway. Now we can finish it off. We just need a little bit of cilantro. I'm just gonna tear some just like that. The juice of 2 limes. This is a rich, fatty dish. So I wanna kind of make this salsa very acidic to cut through all that richness and fat. And then I have a little chicken bouillon cube. I'm gonna just put a half of that in there. And then salsas need salt. If you ever make a salsa and it's just kind of not hitting the way you want it, it's probably because you don't have enough salt. The lid on, and then we're just gonna puree it. Then just blend it to your desired consistency. I like it a little bit smoother on the thick side. That tastes money. As it cools down, it's gonna develop even more, so we're gonna let that kind of chill off to the side. While we're here, one of the other things we're gonna need is a little bit of diced cilantro and onion. Now, always when you do a little cilantro onion topping on a taco, you wanna use a white onion. They're just not as kind of pungent and strong raw, making them perfect to kind of top on tacos. I just wanna cut this into like a small dice. And then get them into a bowl. Then we can take our cilantro and just roughly chop it. Put that into the bowl and then mix the 2 together. You want about the same amount of cilantro in there as you do onion. Now we can set that off to the side until we're ready. Now back to our tortillas. Now they're a lot softer, easier to kind of form into a nice smooth ball without any creases. I'll just go through and roll them again one more time. And then I got my carbon steel griddle heating up. We want to get it around 400 degrees. You can use a cast iron pan as well. I got my bench flour, throw some on there. Then I got my rolling pin, I'm gonna flour that as well. Then I'm gonna take one of the balls. I'm gonna place it down. And I'm just gonna use this part of my thumb to just flatten it out into a circle, just like that. Make sure each side is nicely floured. And then just like I would roll out a sheet of pasta, I'm gonna push forward one way, rotate, push forward, rotate, push forward. Then you want to roll it out as thin as you can and as circular as you can. Not all tortillas need to be tiny. A lot of authentic tortillas in Mexico are actually larger for tacos. Just like that, about an 8-inch taco. Then we're gonna lightly grease the griddle and then straight onto the griddle with that tortilla. And we're not gonna touch it, and we're gonna allow it to cook there for a few minutes while it steams and bubbles from the inside. Then we can give it a flip, and it should be lightly browned on that first side, and then continue to inflate. Check the underside, it's lightly brown the same way as the top. That's perfect. We can get that into a little bowl with a towel to keep them insulated and steam while we roll out the rest of the tortillas and cook them just the same way. They're pretty straightforward. You shouldn't have too much issue with them, and they should be insanely delicious. Now we've got 9 minutes left on our 2-hour timer, and we've casually thrown together beautiful, amazing salsa, fresh, homemade, perfect tortillas. And we did it all casually, leisurely. This is easy. And we're about ready to take the pork out of the oven and see where we're at. Now let's get it out of the stove, and it should be falling apart tender. If you poke it with a cake tester, there should be no resistance. Then we can turn the heat all the way back up and get this back up to a frying temperature to brown the meat one more time. The first browning sort of just sealed the meat. This is to get that nice crunchy texture to the fat and the meat that you love in a carnitas. And once they're brown, get them out, and I just drizzle them with a little bit of that lard just to keep them moist, and then I'm gonna cover them and let them rest. And then once they're done resting, you've got these perfect succulent morsels of pork carnitas that will make the best tacos. So now what we need to do is take a few of these pieces, the different muscles, and try and get a little bit of everything chopped up into one little taco. Now I don't know which muscle's which, but I'm just gonna pick a few and chop a little bit of them up at a time and get them mixed up. As you'll see, this nugget is a little bit different in color and texture than the last one, and that's sort of what you're looking for. Mix it all up. I added a little bit of drizzle of that lard just to keep it moist, and then we can build our taco. Throw the tortilla right on top so it sucks up some of that fat, and then just scoop on some more of that meat. Then we're gonna go on with that salsa verde, a nice generous amount right on top. Then of course the garnish of cilantro and onion, and then a final squeeze of some lime juice to cut through all that fat. Looks perfect, let's give it a taste. What the hell? That's out of control. But you want to see a secret? So we've got our pork. And remember what I told you earlier? When I tested this recipe, I cooked it with the skin on. Once I took the pork out, I just left it in the oil to fry until it got crispy. And it's still good the next day. You take a little bit of that, keep a few strips to lay on top, chop up the rest, and then just work that into the carnitas. Then we just go ahead and we make that taco exactly like we made the previous one. The only difference is the addition of that crackling, which we're gonna even reinforce on top in a garnish as these little strips. A little lime wedge, and to me, this is the way. Until you hear the crunch. There's nothing more to say. If you want to make this, and you should want to make this, the recipe is going to be down in the description. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.